I'm so tired. I feel hungover for some reason.
I know, right? Me too. I hate it when you feel like
My
that.
eyes are watering when I'm tired, and that's happening right now.
It's the allergies. Do you guys have allergies? I have allergies.
Don't.
I think I have hay fever.
Yeah, hay fever.
You do.
And I have hay fever, and I'm allergic to the
Pollen?
no, the trees have this fluff, plop.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called.
If you ever see a lot of white fluff
Yeah.
just down on the floor and like
It's really
spiraling
bad.
around when it's windy, it's from certain trees before they sort of bloom.
And it's horrible and
it's not nice.
I don't know what I'm allergic to, but I keep getting like
Something.
every time in the summer, especially like the last 2 weeks, I just get like random nosebleeds.
Ooh, that's not
It
nice.
can be from hay fever, really.
I had it
that?
in the library last week. It was really awkward.
Ooh.
I used to get that when I was like your age as well, like
I
quite a
never
lot. But it
had
was
one.
because of stress and so on. But you can get it from hay fever as well, by the way.
I never had the
My mom gets
nosebleed.
those.
I never had the nosebleed.
That's interesting.
That's
Most people
weird.
have that.
I know.
Maybe they should do
No.
research on you.
Yeah. Are we mentally prepared? to
Never
do
are,
the-
never will be.
Born ready.
Okay, so we haven't seen Georgiana.
You got to start or?
Yeah. Okay, come on.
I was
now.
like, are you starting? What are you doing?
Hi guys.
Welcome back
to
to the Student Talk Podcast.
I'm Miru,
I'm Dan.
and with us today we have one of our very beloved lecturers, Georgiana.
Hello.
You're not just a lecturer; you're also the course coordinator, aren't you?
Yeah, course director.
Leader, actually, yeah.
Of course. Yeah, well, I am a program area lead, so I don't look
Yes.
at one particular course. I lead all marketing courses from a strategic point of view. So I oversee, the quality student experience and the course coordinators and undergraduate, postgraduate courses. And it's not just marketing, it's marketing and hospitality and tourism as well. So
Georgiana is basically a area manager.
yeah, kind of like.
She's an area manager. For
I should
3
actually put
different-
that.
Yes, for 3 different courses, isn't it?
For like,
And
it's
the
like,
program.
I think it's 10.
as well. Well, yeah, like the
I don't
main
even know.
topic, not the main topic. The main title would be 3 courses, but within those 3 courses, it's a lot more that goes.
Do you know
into
what?
it,
In my
isn't it?
signature, I'm going to put area manager. I think it's
Yeah.
clear to you guys
Yeah.
what I do,
Program lead.
right? I always
Yeah.
kind of struggle to say, what do I do?
I always
everywhere.
knew, but it is like that.
yeah, I'll put that. You'll
Program
see
lead
that
and
in front
area
of you.
manager.
People will be like, what? I was like, well, the students told me to do it.
And she is a lovely, lovely person. We are very happy to have her as a guest on our podcast because she's also very interesting and full of life. And we have
Ooh.
all noticed this right from the beginning of year 1. And when we met her, everyone was very upset about the fact that she told us we will have her as a lecturer in year 3 most likely, but not until then.
Yeah. Oh, that means a lot, you
Who's
guys
that?
saying that. I always thought I'm very, like,
No,
mean,
we all
you know?
love you. No, no, we all love you. And no, it's honestly everyone that I've talked to.
oh,
Like,
that's lovely.
yeah,
That's what I do, really. I just like that. And it's just great to kind of know you better, not just as students, as like
Yeah.
human beings.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, thank you for that. Made my
That's
day.
all right.
I
I'm
had a really
glad.
crazy week, so thank you.
Oh, actually, tell us about that. How has your
My
week
week.
been, or weeks even, because we
Weeks.
have not seen each other for ages.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a blur. I can't believe it's the 1st of May today.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, literally, we were just celebrating Easter and the
And
clock
Yeah,
changed and
changing,
so
summer
on.
coming around.
Yeah, it's been, it's just that I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like time goes just so
Very
quickly.
fast.
Yeah.
Like, it's Friday and I've done so many things. I guess we're all in the same
Yeah.
situation. I feel like, what did I actually achieve?
Yeah.
But it was a long week. But yeah, it was an interesting week. I went to London
Ooh.
last night.
Oh,
Yes, not to party, like, just it was for work. So we were shortlisted for Graduate Future Institute
yeah.
for employability awards. So our faculty has been shortlisted for community engagement. So, we do a lot of things with the local
Yes.
community. So we have the law clinic, the marketing agency, the accountancy clinic. So it's quite unique in terms of what we do as a faculty overall. So we were shortlisted. We didn't win, unfortunately, but me and my colleagues, so it was Gemma, Selena, and Amy. They were like, we are the true winners of this. But everybody did amazingly, really, and it was such a privilege just to be shortlisted because it's so competitive. It's so many amazing people in the industry are doing so many amazing things. But I feel like we were the true winners.
That's fair enough.
I don't, it was interesting.
It's quite fascinating, even us as students, sort of having more contact with this sort of area, especially us for being marketing students, because I don't believe a lot of people know, like in like uni or in like across different courses, like what the university actually does.
Yeah.
And how much it's involved. Like, to be fair, we probably wouldn't have known if we weren't like sort of connected into this area or not. Like what is happening around and how many efforts you guys make to sort of first of all make our experience better, but also provide us with opportunities and the local community as well, because
and you're a local, right? So obviously it's a lot of things that we do behind the scenes, and
which many universities don't do as intensely as we do.
No, and that's the thing, and that's why, like yesterday, like we were also nominated for the University of the Year, really. So it was a privilege just to be there. We didn't win for that one, but like everybody who was shortlisted, they were like, obviously, they recognize the thing that we do, and especially our faculty of business and law. It's all about, like community engagement, not only just to help the local community, but also give you, like you said, opportunities and ensuring that what we teach you is relevant and that you get this practical experience. And there's a lot of work going behind the scenes, but that's part of my job. So I like that, to be honest. And it's great because, based on what I do in particular, you meet with all sorts of interesting businesses in the local community, smaller, bigger, and so on. And you talk about how amazing our students are and how much support they need in terms of marketing. And we bring opportunities to you guys, either as part of curriculum, so what you do with live clients, but also like job opportunities as well. So, I like, it helps me as well understand, when you speak to local communities, and with businesses in particular, most of the businesses are small and medium enterprises, really, isn't it? So everything is quite expensive when you don't have like a big budget for marketing and so on. And it's like, it's giving me the opportunity to understand what are the needs in terms of marketing, and then we bring that in the classroom, and then we change the curriculum based on like, industry engagement. So it's a lot of things, but it's a new thing, so obviously we're gonna talk about it more with the students. So
and to be fair, it's quite fascinating how we always sort of stay up to date as well within, because marketing, especially like for our curriculum and the things that we learn, it's always changing. There's always base foundation sort of stuff that goes to as the base of your knowledge, but there's also things that are changing from year to year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those areas. We always every year when you come to open days, and we're like, this is what you do in your the applicant experience days, which is before you start, like in the beginning of the year when you start. And we're like, this is how level 4 looks like, and then we talk about like, which is first year, and then we talk about second year and third year, but we always say, and we'll put a disclaimer, it's subject to change because it always changes. So what we do is ensuring that every year, like we try to cover things, like we do cover like relevant things, but there's something coming up, and we're like, okay, we need to adjust the curriculum to make sure that the students are learning about this and that they're going to have that in their CV, on their transcript, and when they go in the industry, they're like, I covered that. So we do that every year. Yes, it's a. Are you okay? It's a never-ending job, but it's lovely, really, to do this. And we do work with the students when we make these changes as well, and we listen, to be honest. And we have students on placements, alumni, all sorts of people. So it's always changing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an ever-changing environment.
I know. The world is changing. It's a bit of a crazy place right now, but marketing changes more, I guess.
We'll get into that a little bit later, into more depth. I haven't seen you in 5 weeks. How have they been for you? How's it going?
Stressful.
Oh.
I'm with you. Have your assignments gone well so far?
I don't know if well's the right word. They've been submitted.
That's
Apart
good.
from
That's an achievement.
three
That's,
more, but
Yeah, same.
you know, you
did-
have to think small, you know, like you submitted.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. You
Any,
can't
how
control.
was your Easter? Anything
Um,
fun? Anything? Did
I
you get a chance to
worked-
relax?
No, I worked every day and then came back up here and
Yeah.
then did some assignment work. Went to a concert,
Oh,
booked
that's
another
nice.
concert.
Yeah, I saw that.
What concert?
I went to Alex Warren
I'm gonna pretend I know
and then
what
I
he's talking about.
booked. Do you listen to Capital FM?
No.
No. They have
don't
host like a
either.
summertime ball where they have like a bunch of like big artists come down.
Ah,
So I
okay.
booked tickets for that as well.
That's cool.
I heard of it, but I'm a bit on the outside of things as well.
I
Being
just-
sort of
yeah. Interesting.
in two different cultures, leaning more towards one of them, and then having to adapt to the other
Yeah.
one. It's a bit like, yeah. But well, at least you've been productive. You made money. You submitted your assignment. It was
Yeah.
stressful.
We even
but,
worked together. You should
Yeah.
have mentioned that.
Oh yeah, I've
Really?
worked every day with
Yeah.
Georgiana.
Yeah, that's true.
So I put you on the spot, and you did as well. So it was cool.
Yeah.
I love working with you, really. So
That's great. I can relate to that. My weeks have been stressful too.
Yeah.
It's been it's been between assignments and work. When I wasn't working, I was doing assignments. When I wasn't doing assignments, I was working. And then I think there was 4 days throughout the 3 weeks that I got a chance to do nothing.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even because I planned on doing nothing. It was because I didn't have time to do anything else because I had to do other things like that took up most of the day. And then literally this past week's been very busy. It's been quite crazy because it was my niece's christening. And we had a lot of family come down, and it was lovely. Don't get me wrong, it's been probably the most fun we've all had in a very long time because we don't see everyone very often. There was people coming from Romania as well, and it was so lovely. But the average sleeping time was 5 hours a night, which I don't mind because it doesn't happen every week.
it's Romanian
So it was-
christening, you know,
exactly,
it's
it was
very
like a
different. We're
baptism
from the
and-
same country
Yes, we
origin.
are.
So it's like I feel like sometimes it's a great thing, really. It's obviously an
It's
amazing thing that is happening, but I feel like people also use it as an excuse to party and see not an excuse in the good sense of the
Yes,
word,
but
to
at the
see each other and
same-
do like a family gathering.
At the
which is
same
great.
time, there is a party involved in it.
Yes.
I mean, the christening is technically the party, but the baptism is what happens in the
Yeah,
church.
the baptism. Yes.
So it's a bit.
It's
of,
a big party,
Everything in
actually.
one sort of thing. But it was lovely. It was great. We had fun, and then that was.
Do you want me to tell me something funny about my christening?
Go on.
Like a parent, I'm quite old actually. So my mom always tells me there were so many people. It was like a wedding almost because my grandma, she only had a boy. Yeah, my dad.
Yeah.
And she always wanted a girl, and she
Yeah.
couldn't have girls after. And she was like, everybody was so excited. There was a girl in the family. It was like literally like a few hundred people. My mom always tells me that. It's like,
Aw.
that was like a wedding. Like,
Yeah, literally a wedding
was-
size Christian.
yeah, yeah. So you should go to a Romanian christening now.
We recommend. If you get the
Yeah.
opportunity, we recommend. They're very fun. Even a Romanian wedding is very different. You will
yes.
have a big cultural shock.
Yes.
You will have a big cultural shock.
People start
Um,
eating at 9 o'clock. That's when people
Yeah.
start.
So
and then
we
you
don't really
party.
have anything like a reception
Oh, no.
or no. There's basically everyone. If they choose to have the church, the wedding in a church first. So after you go sign the documents
You go.
to actually make it official and have to like you do basically here.
Yeah.
You go to the church to get married in front of God. And then after the church, you go to the restaurant. The restaurant's where the wedding actually happens, basically. Like the party for the wedding.
Okay.
However, the whole ceremony happens in the church, and the signing of the documents can even happen on a different day.
Yeah.
There's still people gathered there around.
Yeah.
You have to have people martori.
Yes,
You have to
witnesses,
have
yeah.
witnesses, yeah. But it's not as big of a deal because it's not really part of the wedding. The wedding happens when you go to the church and then to the restaurant.
Yeah, that's what people mostly.
And at the
yeah.
restaurant, there's the bride and the groom at the front with their godparents,
Yeah.
which have officiated, which were basically the witnesses of the like when they went to the ceremony to sign the papers. But we have godparents because you also get married in front of God. So
yeah,
that's
you
the
have
tradition.
that for which I don't
Yeah.
think
I don't think
here it's just for
many
christening
others.
or like so when you have godparents, but not
yeah.
for weddings. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
No, yeah, it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
And then they have to be at the front of the restaurant, welcoming people in. And there's music in the background of the welcoming. That also happened at the christening as well. When people walk into the restaurant, you have to give them a glass of champagne, and then you have to like sort of hug them and you say thank you for like coming and whatever. They go enter. There's like obviously like you have weddings here, tables set with sort of the people that are supposed to sit with each other and whatever. There's also a cultural thing that happens in some places. It's not cultural. It's just the way people are.
Which one? You think maybe
Why did I set this table and not at that one?
Oh yes. It's always because there's no
always someone.
seating. Like there's no.
No.
Like, usually you don't
There's
have like
there's no way of
place
making
cards or anything.
No, and there's no way of making everyone happy.
yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to sit next to that person. And then you have to be aware of all those things until you don't care anymore. And whoever ends up sitting next to each other, that's their seating. It's not like they're going to be at the table for most of the night anyway, because once the music starts, people are not hungry anymore and they just get up and dance.
But they start
which is
that's what I'm saying.
amazing.
Like you start eating, like you go to the restaurant, but people don't start eating
No,
straight
you
away.
don't
It's
serve
like
the food
8
until
in the
later.
evening,
Yeah.
and you have like I don't know how many courses, and
It's
then you finish
usually-
partying in the
depends,
morning.
2 or 3. And
Two
then
or three, like
2 or 3. But the third one nowadays is usually the cake. It's not really.
you know what? When I go, like it's very interesting. Like obviously, I'm from Bucharest, but then I'm also from another area, and over there, like they give like 5 courses or something.
Yeah, I'm from.
So you eat all evening and dance. You know, you're burning the calories.
Yeah, literally. I'm from Moldova, and we have a lot like Bacău, but Moldova, like in Romania, and we have a lot of traditions that happen before the wedding. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
You need to like
go with the groom gets the bride from home, and it's not like the first sight for us is not that big of a deal. Like if you want it to be a big deal, then you make it a big deal. But the first sight is like the groom is supposed to go pick up the bride from their house, like from her house, and then like take her. And there's like a huge row of cars, one after the other, decorated with like white, like not tinsel,
ribbons
mesh.
and
yeah.
I don't know, mesh
ribbons, and then all the cars are honking, and you know there's a wedding. Like the whole street, the whole like avenue knows there's a wedding.
So it's
interesting. It's a big announcement.
You know, if we ever have the opportunity, we have to take you to. If I ever, you know, when I get, or if I get, I don't even know really at this stage. If I ever get married, I'll invite you to my wedding in Romania just to see how it is. Okay,
Love that.
when you like, if and so on. Yeah, so we will invite you to see how it is.
No, honestly, it's a great experience. Everyone that goes to weddings that are not from Romania, they say they've never seen people party like that before, and it's within our culture.
Yes.
So
I mean, I've never been to a wedding in the UK, so
either.
Really?
Okay.
Okay, you need to. Yes, you need to
I haven't
experience.
either actually. Well, been to my.
I have. It was a smaller. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, it
we
was
had
different.
a Romanian technically engagement because they want to do the wedding later on. It was my brothers and my sister-in-laws, but it was with an English spin on it because obviously because it wasn't the actual wedding. They didn't go to the church yet, so it was sort of half and half.
Yeah, it's a
in
lot
a
of
way,
fusion
but not
between
really.
cultures, really,
Yeah.
especially when you.
They didn't mean to make it half and half. It was just because it wasn't all happening at once.
Yeah.
But it was still lovely.
Don't worry, we'll make sure you're gonna experience those.
But yeah, so that's been happening.
Very different topic
Very
than probably
different.
what we were planning today, right?
But that's
well.
what we love about the podcast, and hopefully you guys do too.
It's educational. See, we
It is
educated
educational.
people on
Do you know what? When we had the Christmas episode, we had Hannah as a guest, and she is Spanish. So we were talking about how our dinners go in comparison to Dan's. And I ended up showing like a photo to like the camera, like to them about like the food display that we had on the table. And so did Hannah. It was lovely.
Yeah.
So we do sort of talk about stuff like this. It's not a first. We never talks about a wedding though.
No, so it's a first.
Right, so should we sort of move on to the actual reason why you guys are probably here? To meet
Maybe they were here for the
Georgiana?
Romanian wedding kind of knowledge. You never
Hopefully.
know.
Hopefully. We recommend you go to one. If you can't go to one, search it up on YouTube and see what it's like. Because a lot of the weddings that are being filmed and recorded, they get uploaded.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
So we want to learn more about you and your background, and we want to know, what did you study before you started working?
So I studied. I didn't study marketing. So I did. So back then, as I told you, I was at university a long time ago, and there was a big thing to do, like a major and a minor, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you still do it. Like here is like maybe something with or so on, but mine was business studies and tourism and leisure studies.
Mm-hmm.
So I did business studies, and then I did also tourism, leisure. Like
Yeah.
gym management, all those sort of things, and tourism experience, tourism destination experience, and so on. So I kind of combined both. I did. I did marketing. Obviously, we had to cover quite a bit of marketing, and I chose like a lot of options in marketing and so on. So I always liked marketing,
Yeah.
especially in tourism, like destination branding and management. I just love that. So that's what I studied really. So I did more of generalist sort of degree
Yeah.
because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
That's fair enough. You're
So-
always somehow connected to marketing though.
Yeah.
Because you said that was the bit that you enjoyed most, wasn't it?
Yes, I did. I did enjoy that the most. And that's why, when I was a student, I was, when you have to choose optional modules and so on, I was always using like marketing related options, and I focus on those as well. So I really liked, for example, I think it was services marketing. Just loved it, really. It's about, obviously the service industry, and I'm very interested in terms of marketing. I was always interested in like the human element of marketing. So that's why I was choosing. So yeah.
So what did you do after you graduated?
Oh, so when I graduated, it was after the recession in 2008, which do you know about it? How
No.
you were like, how?
2.
You were 2. So
yeah, we were too.
it was one of the biggest. I think you probably learned about this, right? A bit in school, or
It
like
was mentioned,
it is. Yes,
but it was never like as in depth as the ones from
shows you
before.
shows you how old I am, guys. But when I graduated, it was just like after during the recession, so it was absolutely brutal, to be honest. The job market and everything collapsed. Like everything, it was bad. It was really really bad. So there weren't like a lot of opportunities out there. But my plan, the plan was always to go back home to work with my family. But I decided to stay in the UK, and I wanted to obviously expand my skills and specialize in something a bit more, because I did a generalist business degree.
Yeah.
So I decided to do a master's. So I enrolled and I did a master's in international tourism management.
Was that here or was that?
No, so I went to university, and it's on my LinkedIn. Please follow me. So I went to Canterbury Christchurch University, so in Canterbury. I don't know if you've ever been in Canterbury.
No.
Oh, it's lovely. I had my graduation in the cathedral.
Oh,
It was
that
an
sounds
amazing
nice.
experience.
Was the Archbishop there? Was
Yes, it's
Oh.
the Archbishop. Yeah, so because it was kind of like, I don't know, I should know the whole history of the university, but it was kind of like sponsored by the Archbishop of Canterbury. That's what it's called, Christchurch University, and it's a good university, and it's smaller than ours.
Yeah.
And I used to kind of they were even giving us like free entry to the cathedral. It was very expensive, even at that time, to go in and visit. So I was always there, and then like having the graduation there was really great. So he was it was very interesting. So, but it was it's like your work, if you know. Yeah, so it was cool. And then I went to Sheffield Hallam up north, completely different, completely different weather. So that's where I did my master's in Sheffield Hallam University and my PhD as well. So yeah.
So is your PhD also in tourism, or is that sort of focus on something else?
Yeah,
or?
mine. So my area of expertise is emotional labor. So I don't know if, is when you work in the service industry, but not only. Even now, for example, you might feel like I'm so tired, but you need to to show certain emotions and so on. Or in a service industry, if you go to a restaurant and someone's job is to smile, or even my job. If I have a bad day, it doesn't matter. I have to be in front of the students and just perform, really. So that's called emotional labor. So I researched that area, and I looked at that as a main theory, but also I looked at tour operators in particular and holiday reps. Do you know holiday reps? So that's what I researched. And it was really cool because I had to do my field work in the Canary Islands.
Oh,
so
that sounds
so
fun.
it was really, really cool, actually. But so it's in organization and management. So it's in leadership and so on.
Yeah.
Looking at employees and what influences people's emotions in the workplace, and how can we actually make sure that as organizations we manage training and support systems a bit better, so people don't experience emotional burnout. So can read my PhD is available so online.
Honestly, that sounds really cool, and it's mixed in with psychology as well.
Yes,
isn't it?
so sociology, psychology, and organizational
fascinating.
behavior. Yeah, so it's like
Quite
interdisciplinary.
fascinating.
Yeah, it's an
Combines
interesting
a few things actually, which I can't imagine it being easy to research, but
No, I had to learn.
a bit of everything.
Yeah, I was very good at always reading body language, but it's involved in that because I did observations as well. So I had to do like even more proper training in terms of like body language and micro expressions, and obviously because in observations you have to look at those things as well. So I kind of looked, and I was very interested. I was kind of obsessed at one point with reading people's body language and so on. And I like that even now, to be honest. I always read about that and so on, but it's a skill to have. I always was good in terms of like reading people. I think it's about emotional intelligence and so on. But I guess when I trained myself, and because obviously when you do a PhD, you train yourself in that area. I started to kind of become better at it as well. And it's a very interesting thing, to be honest. And you can tell if someone is lying or not, like just by looking. Like if I don't do it actively, to be honest.
You don't want to, but you can.
No, but you can. Yeah, it's so like we are so obvious as human beings. If you want to lie, it's very, very difficult. That's why they have the lie detector. Like even like it's very interesting. But that's one thing that I'm planning to do something in terms of this area, but in higher education and obviously related to students in particular. So just to kind of look at what can we do to obviously, teach you how to be good at emotional labor and so on, so that you don't experience emotional burnout and so on. So I'm gonna do research. Hopefully you're gonna take part in it, so I'm gonna do research in that area, because I think it's an area that it's applicable to everything. So,
and it's something affecting a lot of people.
People like, if you ask a lot of people, they don't even know like what is emotional labor. I'm like, it's the bigger picture, really. Emotional intelligence is just how you know how good you are, is nature versus nurture and so on. But emotional labor is literally actively doing that, especially as part of your job. So there are like jobs where you have to be positive.
I'm very bad at it. If I'm having a bad day, I will let everybody know.
And that's the thing. And if you would be in a position, in a job where you have to meet with a client, especially in marketing, or you have to do a pitch or whatever, and you have to be like, professional. It would take a toll, right, on you. But basically what we do when we manage our emotions, we go through what we call emotional regulation processes. So it's called deep acting, surface acting. There are various things that we go through. So if we learn how to manage those things better, then you wouldn't experience so much emotional burnout, or you wouldn't feel so tired. Like even the open day, that we did. It is difficult. You saw how tired you are after you're there for like how many 6 hours, because you have to be like, because
excited.
we are genuine really, but it's tiring, So
you have to sort of give everyone that you talk to and come across a little bit of your energy.
Yeah, we were honest, and we are like we've experienced what we call genuinely felt emotions. But when you're like tired from working for a whole week and so on, but it's not just that. It's like in any jobs, really. In my job, I mean, I teach on Fridays in the afternoon. Worst time ever to teach for me.
Whole week, yes.
But the students as well. And I had such a long week, and I'm like, I can see the students are like, like we're tired and so on. I'm like, let's, And sometimes it's tough working with emotions. It's very tough, and that's what differentiates us from machines, right? So yeah.
It does make sense. I mean, even in my job, I'm just like a sales assistant, but I still have to give good customer service, have to smile, have to say hello, thank you, like when someone walks in, out. And it's after an 8-hour shift, I do feel like it could have been a like perfectly normal day, everything gone like well and good, and I still feel a bit drained just because it starts off with uni and then it goes into 8 hours. So it's
But organizations can do things in particular ways to actually minimize that. So they can do certain things. It's not just training people, but they can do certain things to, in order for you to kind of feel positive and not having to fake your emotions, So there are ways through which you can support people to experience positive emotions, which would lead to less burnout. You would still feel physically tired, but I'm talking about more like mental tiredness and mental burnout. Yeah.
That's very interesting. It's something so common that probably everyone comes across at least once in their lifetime, and they might not even know what it is. Just
you
like
do it
you
even
said.
at work. Like, I don't know if you are, if you have partners or whatever, but sometimes you're like having a chat with your partner and you're like, they're saying something. You're like, please, I don't want to say anything. I'm like, come on, I'm so tired, because
or
you don't want to
get it around. You get home and all you can do is just literally run on about your day because it's been so much, and you had to keep it all in. And you have to let out.
So you do it even in your person, like, or even like in friendship relations, like with people. You're like, I mean, there are people who potentially you don't like, and you're like, I have to be professional. I'm like, God, this is a friend of a friend. I disagree with what you're saying. So it's everywhere, really. We do it, but in the workplace is you can actively do things to manage it, for people to manage it better.
That makes sense.
So you did your master's and then your PhD.
Yeah, I worked a bit as well. I've been working a bit.
Go straight from PhD to lecturing, or was there like a different career path in mind beforehand?
Because part of when you do a PhD, you are a teaching assistant as well. This is the best way to kind of, or an associate lecturer I was. So I was a teaching assistant, and I was part of your PhD, you need to teach. It depends on where you do your PhD, but for me, where I went, they were giving us this opportunity and you had to teach. So, because what we do at university is also research-informed teaching. So we research things and we bring it in the classroom because it's the most accurate information you're going to get, really. So I was teaching, I remember that my first module, it was on entrepreneurship, because I have this background as well and understanding from my family business. So it was so easy to kind of do that. I was working as well in hospitality and tourism. So I kind of brought in, the theoretical thing and the practical experience I was teaching. So I didn't really I didn't really think about becoming a lecturer at all. My plan was to do my PhD, which was very practical and so on, and go and work maybe for, big consultancy like Deloitte, or like, not only that, I'm not saying I would have gotten a job, although if you're watching, I'm joking. But the plan was to kind of move into the industry, really, because with a PhD, if you go in the industry, so like it's not just an academic thing. You can get like more opportunities as well because you spend so many years, 3 to 4 years, and you're an expert in that area and so on, and you work with companies actually and so on, so it's quite practical. So if you have a PhD, it's like a consultancy sort of thing. So that was my plan.
Yeah.
And then it didn't actually
Quite
fell through.
align.
Yeah, because I started teaching and I really enjoyed it, and I liked, I like a lot of like practical teaching and so on. So I really enjoyed it, and I was thinking, should I go? Like I was having conversations with some friends, people who I was working with. I was working with. I was like, I don't want to be in this industry really or progress here. When I had opportunities really, and I was like, I really want to go into teaching, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I just decided. Well, I was just like I ended up being a lecturer, but I had a lot of training really. But I really liked it because you have the practical understanding and then the theoretical one. I was good at it even then, really. So, and it was really nice to see people learning, like, how hotel works, for example, for operations or whatever. I was teaching at that time. But I was also focusing a lot on marketing as well. And obviously, I've done some marketing as well. So, yeah.
Sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's very like, it was not what I planned. This is what I'm saying to you guys. Don't I always tell you, you might not end up doing what
because you never know where life takes you. But I don't know, maybe some people might not agree with this, but I always believe it finds a way to just take you on the right path where you're actually meant to be. Exactly.
If I think about it, when I was a kid, and I'm telling you, this is so crazy. It's just so crazy. When I was a kid, my mom is saying to me, like, you are meant to do this, really. And I was like, why? And we were starting to having this conversation. This was a few years ago. And she was like, you remember when you were like a child and you were outside and you were playing with your friends and you were playing like school, I was older and I was always teaching the younger kids stuff and so on. And we were like, me and my friends, we were like, I don't know, I was teaching maths and so on, we were playing like that. And she was like, you used to do that. And do you remember when you were even at home and you used to play with like your toys, like the classroom, and you had like, do you know Romania? They used to have like this big, they're called catalog, like the big mark. I don't know how it was in England.
So it's this big, like massive sort of notebook, is like from here till here.
It was not digital.
It was not digital. It is now.
It is now, yeah.
It is now. Which is kind of sad, to be honest, because it's just such a thing that's embedded within our culture. When you see that thing, you start shaking.
Yeah, the teacher walking with
it's a huge like notebook sort of thing. And it has like squares, big squares for each class within the year. And the name of each student within the class, so they can get their grades written in. And at the end of the year, your average is calculated for each subject by all the grades that you got for different tests, for different...
You were even getting like, they could just put you on the spot, be like, tell me, about this theory, and they will give you a mark.
They'd sort of make you stand up in the class.
Like America, I think.
They make you stand up in the class and they ask you a question either from the lesson that they just done or from the previous lesson or 3 lessons before. It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter.
I've never had this before.
Yeah. Or if you're naughty, you would get a 4, which was like a fail.
Yeah. And that would, even if your average was really good until then, that would bring down your average a lot.
Is this in like secondary schools?
It starts off in primary, but now they've changed the system. So in primary, you don't actually get grades.
You get ABC.
Like it's like FB, which is very good because it stands for the 2 letters that makes up the word.
Is that criteria that you have actually at university, which is excellent, very good, good?
Yeah.
It's the same now. Yeah, but then obviously without the marks.
And they're not. They try to gaslight you into thinking that they're not as tough, whereas like
they were tough.
They were. But it was quite interesting because we are built up with such pressure on your shoulders from a young age, especially this conversation could go on for hours. I'm not going to go into it.
We can do another episode.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into it because there's a lot that can be said, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Because it sort of, in a way, builds you up for the stress that comes in later.
Oh, yeah,
life,
that's why we can...
You're sort of immune to it, and you can juggle things. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you don't really get the opportunities you get here with picking the subjects you want to have GCSEs for.
I think they want to change that now, but not as
think they
much.
do.
Just like 20% of what you study, you're going to
Yeah.
choose. So,
So
like
in
we're experts in
Romania-
anatomy, aren't we? We know chemistry. We know organic chemistry.
Yeah.
Like really high level stuff. Like
in high school, which is technically college. But we go into high school, you start high school at 14, and that's when the grade you get before you have to take an exam, which is technically like a GCSE, but not really, because it's a little bit less daunting and a little bit less important. But if you don't have it, you can't go to high school. So you have to get a good grade for that exam, and then, but depending on your grade, you enroll in different high schools, because each high school sort of has a grade average that you have to get into.
Yeah.
Sounds literally.
Do you know what
sounds
my
like I'm
grade
explaining
average from my
rocket
high school
science.
was, Dan? Like literally the high school I went to. Obviously, I'm older than you guys, so it's
Yeah.
different now. So in equivalence, so you mark out of 10. So let's say like it's 92.5. So you wouldn't have gotten in if you had lower mark than 92.5.
Even if it's 92.3.
Yeah.
So it's really like now they're not as strict. I think they'd let you in.
I don't know. I have to admit, I've been.
So it
away
is
for a
like
long
that,
time.
but at the same time, there's also really that's one thing that annoys me, because there's really bright students that just don't perform well in that.
Yeah,
like,
they're
way of
changing
teaching.
now. Yeah,
But you used to have to do that, and then each high school would have like 5-6 profiles that also had different grading. You could choose between them, but some were ranked higher. But for example, Mate Info, which is info mathematics, which links to math and IT.
so you did like computer programming,
sort of,
database, AI
yeah.
development. Like this is what I did.
Now probably.
I used to
Did
do
you?
like a
Yeah.
lot of like depends on.
Depends
yeah.
on the region as well.
Yeah.
But the profiles are technically
What did
standard
you
throughout
do?
the country. I was here.
Yes, you were
So
here.
I
yes.
didn't do
Yeah.
much. My brother did that though. Actually, I don't even know if he did that or he just went into it more, but I think he did do that.
I did computer and IT.
He used to take apart computers and put them back together, like the motherboard.
He was like
everything,
That
different.
sounds fun.
it is
It
fun.
was interesting. It
But
was interesting.
Where I wanted to get to was in the exam, you don't get to choose to have an exam just based on that profile. For him, for example, it was.
Is it baccalaureate you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know
Yes.
international baccalaureate?
No.
It's technically.
We have it
as
here. You have it here in the UK as
AGCSE,
well. It's
you do.
It's a
High.
different type of high. It's
Yeah.
a bit different than A levels.
It
And they
is a
wanted
bit
to make it
different.
compulsory, and people were like, "It's too difficult, really."
So it's technically a combination between GCSEs and A levels.
But it's
in
what's
a way,
happening in most
but-
Europe. So a lot of people
Yeah.
do. Like we get people
Yeah.
who have done international baccalaureate from the UK. So some people decide to do that really. And
But it's quite a difficult exam. And then you have like maths, Romanian language and literature, and then
foreign language,
foreign
English.
language.
I did English.
But it's not like you don't have to have an exam in that. It's usually
Really?
those two. Yeah.
I did. It was compulsory when
It's
I was.
not anymore. It used to be 5. Now it's down to 3.
Oh,
It's down to 3, and it's I don't know how long ago what that was decided, but it was maths, English, and then one option, and I think for my brother it was I can't even remember what it was, but he switched last minute instead of he did so it's maths, like Romanian, not English, sorry, and then he was supposed to do history, and then instead of maths he switched to biology, which he hasn't done for 3 years, because the like exam materials you intensively get taught in the last 2 years, and high school is like 4 years. And so he had to go on based off the things that he knew before.
Okay.
So it was
I did
but
5.
that was his choice.
And do you know what is a funny thing? And I'll tell you this is when I did 5, so I did maths because I was a maths profile. I did maths, Romanian language and literature, whatever, English language, geography.
Yeah.
And then I did, guess what? Computer programming. I had a written exam. This is how difficult it was.
Wasn't digital.
You had to do the
written.
code to
On
write it with
paper.
pen and paper. And they
Yeah.
would mark you on that. Like, do you know how difficult
Yeah.
that is, really? And I was
Yeah.
like, what did I sign up for? Really?
Yeah.
But I was like, but it doesn't, like now you might think, it doesn't make sense. But then when you're programming, it makes sense because it's
You
in
have
your
to
head
remember
anyway.
anyway.
You're like, now
Yeah.
everything is technology and so on. Well, back then, this is how IT used to work.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what was that?
So, what we were trying to get out was the school system is very different, and it sort of sets you up for
It's good. It's
like
good and bad.
the
really,
discipline,
things.
and like you don't get to choose what you have an exam in like we did. Of course, math, science, and English were compulsory or whatever,
Yeah.
but you got to choose your options. You, even though you went on that profile in high school, you didn't really get to choose what you had an exam in. There was an optional, but that wasn't really related to the
I hated
the
physics.
subject.
Oh my god, when they were making me learn physics. Like, don't get me wrong, I like
Yeah.
physics, but for the life of me, I like. I don't have any problem with physics. It's
Yeah.
good to know stuff.
Yeah,
But you had to learn like super like
really hard stuff.
and I was not good at it. I was good at math, but physics was just because I wasn't really into it. I think if
Yeah.
I was into it, I would have
Yeah.
gotten like high marks, like I was getting geography and stuff like that. But I was like, oh god, I remember I didn't get like high marks for physics. But now I know stuff. But then I'm like, you can't you shouldn't take it like, in my opinion, like to that level of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Or chemistry. Like
I think biology is the only one I actually really liked.
yeah,
yeah, I like
biology. We used to do
biology
that. Did
better.
you do like animals and plants
Yeah,
and
animal
human
versus
body,
plant cells and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
fungi? Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that as well.
Yeah,
It was
it
so
was very
fascinating. And you do
interesting.
that from a very early age, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
science is called here, right?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But the one thing I can tell you, the algebra you get taught in year 7.
Oh, I love algebra.
The algebra, like the math, like the maths you get taught in year
Yeah.
7, I used
Yeah.
to know from when I was year 8. I was 8 years old and I knew what
Oh,
we
yeah.
learned when we were 11.
Even now they're saying it's very complicated, but math helps you.
So
It's very tough.
the
Like
algebra,
fractions, I used to do when I was
especially
a
the
kid.
fractions, the algebra, and the only thing that I learned was negative numbers here that you guys got taught before me. But the algebra and the fractions and sort of equations I knew from when I was 8. So maths when I moved here because I spoke
Equations,
no
yes,
English.
with one unknown, 2 unknowns, 3 unknown. No, is it with
Yeah.
3 as well?
I think so, yeah.
And I was
Can be.
like, what geometry? Oh, I used to love. Did you do
We never
geometry?
did geometry.
We
no,
did.
it was
I did.
so cool.
I never
didn't
did
do
it.
geometry?
No.
Like to calculate, like to kind of draw
The
the pyramid,
angles,
the
yeah.
angles, the volume. Like it was
A
like
squared,
yeah,
B
it's-
squared, C squared, all that stuff.
yeah. You should look into it.
Oh.
Like even if it's
I
fascinating.
did it here. I didn't do it in Romania. I
didn't
did
do-
it here for GCSE.
I did not do geometry.
So basically, what we learned as well, like in maths, is like if you, let's say, draw something randomly, this is the thing that I remember. I can calculate the surface really, and it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like integrals, isn't it? with
Yeah.
whatever it's called.
We didn't get onto integrals, but we did do geometry.
Oh, I
It
forgot a lot
was-
of stuff
yeah,
really that
it
I
was
studied.
a lot. But yeah, so that's the sort of difference. It was just for maths, to be fair. When I moved here, maths was the easiest subject ever to me because I already knew it up until a certain year. I think it was up until year 9.
Yeah, I
After
don't know
that,
how.
I
know
got
how
taught
I was
stuff
I
that
was a
didn't
school
know
governor,
before.
so now I'm kind of more aware of things. Really,
Oh,
but I was
actually,
like,
that was
what?
another thing we wanted to ask you about. What were the jobs you did in between everything? So you said you did work as well.
Yeah.
Until you got your PhD, obviously, and
My
you
main thing,
started
I was working
teaching.
obviously as a teaching assistant. I was also
Yeah.
working in hospitality as well for a hotel group for a while, customer service and so on.
Mhm.
So I really enjoyed that, and it was a great place to work for. And they've expanded the business, so I was kind of like involved in some very interesting things as well. And I really liked hotel management and operations and so on. So I did that, and I've worked as a tour guide as well for the National Trust, and I did
Oh my
bits
God.
and bobs as well. Like I used to kind of do. There was this thing at our university, just a bit of consultancy as part of a program, and also, all sorts of other things with
Yeah.
but
Customer service
I-
is the bane of my existence.
Is it?
I hate it so much.
I really enjoyed
Don't
it, to be
mind it
honest.
that bad.
I really enjoyed, but the thing is that what I wanted to get to is that I went in the industry, and because I had a degree in the area, they want, obviously, it was easier to progress. It's easier to
Yeah.
progress, really,
Yeah.
and so on. And I really loved it. It was tough because I told you it was at a really bad time, really, with the recession. So
Yeah.
you couldn't find really amazing jobs. But then when the economy started to kind of change, you get like it was quite more opportunities
Mm.
as well. But I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I think with my area, yeah, I've done a lot of things. But if you can see, there's a constant hospitality and tourism.
Yeah.
So I was like,
And also bits and bobs from marketing thrown
yeah,
in
because
there.
with hospitality and tourism, you kind of do a lot of things,
Yeah,
really, and it is
you have
about
to. It
service
is,
selling
yeah.
and all sorts of stuff. But I really like this industry. It's like my, I love marketing is everywhere. But if I want to kind of look at an industry specific sort of passion is
Yeah.
hospitality and tourism. I just love it. I don't know. I just always liked, talking to people. As a student, I used to work as well in the industry. It was really cool. My first job was in Canterbury,
Right.
and it was called Canterbury Tales. I don't know if you've ever heard about it. Canterbury.
No.
Anyway, I didn't hear about it until I moved to the UK, really. But it was this cafe, and they used to serve this sort of like, Canterbury was like a place. It's a place for pilgrimage and
Okay,
so
yeah.
on. And they used to serve this kind of food, which they had like lavender soup, like things
Oh.
that they were serving like in the past as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I remember it was me and Ioana. Hi, I'll share this with her. We were working. We found that because we were colleagues in high school as well, so we went to the same university. And I remember we used to wear, and our uniform were like these medieval dresses.
Really?
I'll try
That's
to find a
really
picture. Maybe you
cool.
want to add it. Like it was so
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be great.
So we used to kind of like work as waitresses, but then we also, because it was a family-run business, and the couple was so nice and so on. We were always working weekends. We used to do like a lot of like promotional stuff and things like that, events and so on. It was really, really
that's
cool.
really
I was
cool.
wearing like this dress, and it was really like people wanted to. I think I'm in hundreds of pictures like of people from during that time, and it was really lovely. I remember that it was my first kind of job here in the UK, really. So my dad was like, "You found a job? Like, are you doing that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to make my own money." And back then, £100 was £100.
Yeah.
And I remember you're too young, but there was this shop. It was called Jane Norman.
Mm.
Have you ever heard of
No.
it? Clothes shop. It's like Top Shop.
Okay.
Like, have you heard of Top Shop?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Uh, you know what? You should speak to our fashion marketing, your fashion marketing colleagues. But Jane Norman was this. It's not like New Look. It's a bit different. It was like a bit more expensive than New
Yeah.
Look, but it was like
Next.
they were saying. Yeah, it was like for the cool girls and so on.
Like
It was like
Stradivarius, Bershka, Zara
like
kind of.
Zara was
Yeah.
not a big thing back
No,
then.
it
That's
was
all I'm gonna
not.
say.
It was
And
European focused
Yeah.
more anyway, and it's not anymore, but it used to
Yeah.
be until a few years ago.
And I remember I got like my first sort of like coat from Jane Norman. It was
Aw.
great. And so for my first salary, I was like, oh, So yeah. Oh goodness, I'm so old. Oh well.
Is it worth going straight to that one? Just 'cause I'm
We
conscious of
could do
time.
that, yeah. Conscious
Sorry,
of
like see,
time.
we were like you had your topics, like, and we just
did, but that's
divert.
alright.
What piece of advice would you give to current students?
To current students, I always tell you this. What do I tell you? I don't know. I always say to students that it's all about obviously what you know in terms of the things that you study, 100% really. And when you go to university, it's elevated. Otherwise everybody could do social media and so on. But you
Yeah.
have that thing behind the scene, like even with your podcast, there's a whole psychology behind it and a way of doing things. So yeah, you get that from doing a degree, really, and this practical experience and so on. But also university is about developing your soft skills. And if you don't take the opportunity to develop these soft skills, you're not going to, like, genuinely, I'm being honest. I've told you this, you're
No,
not going to
it's true.
succeed
Yeah.
because, people buy from people.
Yes.
There's the age of AI, which, we can talk about if you want.
We need a second episode with you. We don't have time.
But like it's about the soft skills. So if you look at, I can give you the link. There's the World of the Future. What is it called? This World Economic Forum, and they're like
Okay.
they do a report. Jobs of the Future report or something. Sorry about
Right.
this. It doesn't. It's just Friday. And one of the things that they highlighting there as well is the soft skills. The Chartered Institute
Yeah.
of Marketing as well. We're looking now at getting a mini accreditation in relation to soft skills, which they call vital capabilities,
Yeah.
really, for marketeers. So, like critical thinking, it's one of the key skills of the future. And I think at university is one of those, like, you know, when you go like further education and so on, is like
Yeah.
directed at university. And it's probably one of the few environments, if not the only one, where you can truly develop your critical thinking skills, which is one of the most important skills you can have in life, really, but also important for the future. Or soft skills, interpersonal skills, communication skills, presentation, you know. Yeah, we are in the age of technology, but you do consumer behavior. You saw that people started to be more against technology now because they see the dangers, and because it exploded so quickly. I'm telling you, like, I used to kind of do this IT things and so on. Nobody used to talk, like when I was in university 20 years ago, nobody used to kind of talk a lot about AI and so on that much.
Yeah.
So we've exploded, like everything has exploded, that people think, oh, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, the technology is gonna replace. No, it's not gonna really replace you. It's about the soft skills. Humanity is still gonna be there. You know, there are other things we need to obviously focus on and direct our skills. But even in marketing, you have to work with technology, not against it, really. But that's the thing, you have to have those critical skills
to be able to work with
yes.
technology well.
Because how are you going to critically analyze? Let's say if you ask it to do something, like, you need to be critical about it as well, yeah? And you have, like, that's the thing with technology, you have to be able to kind of do that. But also it's about humans, really, and marketing is about selling, yes, and human interaction is like, you know, it's called emotional contagion when you influence each other's emotions as well, and so on. So it's employers are looking at that. So when you go to an interview, why do you think they're doing an interview? And in the past they used to do like recorded interview and so on, but now they're like asking you to go face to face. Why do you think they do that? Like most of the people who hire now, they're like my millennials like me, and they hire maybe your generation as well, and we're quite similar in terms of the generation. But when you think about the generation after you know, you're going to have to hire them, right? So that's why they do this. And it's quite important for students to focus on this. And sometimes I think, you know, when you have an assessment, you're like, I'm doing this, like social media marketing assessment, you know, which I think it's amazing what you guys do, because not a lot of companies would be willing to give you access.
It was actually a really
but it's
good
not only about
opportunity.
doing that, it's about learning how to, you know, the whole idea behind it is not necessarily go over the channel and do amazing content and so on, was to analyze what would work, to be critical, because it's a very tricky subject, wasn't it, right? To be able to assess and think critically about, excuse me, it's my first time when I'm doing a podcast, but it was also to learn how to work with that particular company, to be able to do that. But I think sometimes, you know, things are like some students, not students, but I think maybe you've done this when you're just thinking it's just an assessment, but it's more than that. You know,
realize after how many.
You
things
realize
you've
after,
learned,
but that's the thing. You need to kind of. You know,
reflect
realize,
back.
but that's something probably that I can do better, for example, in my job, for you guys, to explain to you, this is exactly what you're getting from this, and that's why I'm working on a project to be able to make it clear to students, potentially, because sometimes you're so good at stuff and students are so good at things, they just don't see it. They like, you know, that it's just I've done this, you know, I've done this assessment, I've taken over, it's just no, you actually have developed these key skills that you really need. Go and talk in your placement interview about that, because not a lot of people do that. Genuinely, they don't really. So that's what I would strongly encourage students to focus on, those developing those soft skills as well. I think that's my main advice for students, and be confident. You guys are good at it, and take the opportunity, like you guys are doing so many things, you know, and your CV is like, wow.
We've talked about this on the podcast many times, about taking the opportunities that you can without overwhelming yourself, but also making sure even if you don't know what you're going to do in your future, you take advantage of being in university, because a lot of people don't have that opportunity.
And you have access to so much information that literally just a tiny percentage of the world's population has access to, really. Because, Intel report, I remember when I did my PhD and the university had to buy it for me because it was just so specific, and they paid I don't know how many thousands of pounds for me to have it, to be able to do my PhD.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it's like these things and so on. It's just such a great opportunity, really. And you guys are doing a great thing. I think everybody's doing a great thing. I think people, and I think students, they need to be more confident. You guys need to be more confident. Your generation. Take this from a millennial. I know they're always on Instagram and so on. We're always kind of making fun of each other, isn't it? Our generations. But for me, as a millennial, I'm like, be more confident, really. And it depends on what's end of the spectrum you are in terms of Generation Z, because the ones that are like late 20s, it's a bit like you've experienced it different, but you are like at the other end. Yeah. And just you know so much stuff, to be honest. Just be confident, really. And work-life balance, that's very important. To make sure you don't make sure you party as well.
Enjoy your life.
Enjoy your lives, really.
But also be
You're
serious
young
about your future.
I mean, I wish I could, I'm thinking the things that I used to do when I was in my 20s, like go out and then go to the lecture. No, I'm just so tired. If I want, last night I came home it was a work thing. I didn't drink or anything.
Yeah.
We were talking. I feel like I drank, I don't know how many glasses of Prosecco, because I went to bed at 12 o'clock. Yeah. So I'm like, when I was in my 20s, I used to kind of sleep 3 hours a night and been at the lectures at 9 o'clock. So.
I wasn't asleep till 3:30 last night.
You look fresh as a daisy.
Woke up at 9 a.m.
You're having coffee. But you know what I mean? You still feel tired. Imagine me if I would do that. Genuinely, I would just be so enjoy yourselves as well. Just make sure you do that, because otherwise, you want to do a lot of things, and it's important, but also you need to think about your well-being as well, which my generation, I have to admit, we were not good at it. We are not good at that. So this is something you shouldn't learn from millennials. We were always like, and you know that, right?
Yes.
But I think we kind of realize that now, yeah.
We have sadly reached the end of our podcast, and honestly, we would love to have you again.
We should be have a different topic, right?
Yes,
or should be whatever you want to talk about.
We'll go into a bunch of different topics if we have the opportunity to have Georgiana on again. It has been lovely having you.
You have to pay me next time.
Will do. Do you accept cash or just card?
Cash, really. I don't want to pay tax. Sorry?
A check that would definitely not bounce.
You know what I mean? Checks are dangerous. But, no, but it was a pleasure. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting our invite. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave us a like, leave us a comment. If you want to tell us anything, or tell us about your favorite part of the podcast and the discussion, and please subscribe.
If you have any episodes that you'd want to see, now is probably your best chance to suggest them.
Yes.
We've only got, after this episode, we've got about 3, maybe 4 left.
Yes, we've got a limited number of episodes.
If you have any suggestions, then please let us know.
Let us know what you want us to do and what you want to see from us, and we will catch you in the next one. I messed that up. I didn't mess up the intro though.
That's all right.
We'll see you later.
Thank you for having me. Bye.